So again, welcome to Life, Art, and Spirit. I'm your host, DJ Paz1, aka Carl Bailey. So, again, we are talking about the International Christian Film and Music Festival that I attended April 30th through May 3rd. Again, their theme was Faith, Hope, and Love from 1 Corinthians 13:13, and the greatest of these is love. So, again, guys, this was, first of all, hats off to Marty and Chris, who put on an amazing event, and all of the volunteers, the prayer room. Listen, next year in April, this year was April 30th through May 3rd. You ought to start saving your money up right now so you can be in Orlando, Florida at the International Christian Film and Music Festival. Here's why. Whether you're a creative or not, but if you are a creative in the body of Christ and you've been looking for that inspiration, that push, that you feeling that we're on a cusp of something, I just want to tell you, if you want to get tapped in to that spirit, that creative spirit, you got to go to this festival, because this is my third year, and I got to tell you, like, every year I get so charged up, but this year I don't know what happened, but it's like, y'all, I can't stop writing. I can't stop. I got so many ideas. It's like I feel like I need more hands and more people. Like I should have been quadruplets or something, because it's just flowing, and that's how it was. I got to tell you this. So when I first went to the festival, the first thing I did was I went to the prayer room. And it was funny, because if you've seen the movie War Room, it's funny because I was in the main hall, and I walked past this door, and I stepped in the door, and I saw some people, out of my peripheral, and then I walked out and I walked back in, just like the lady in the movie. And I was like, this must be the prayer room. And then one of my sisters was like, yeah. And I was like, man. So you have a little bit of backstory. Every year at the festival, they have a prayer room where, participants can come and pray, get prayed for, get prayed over. And y'all, I thought it was going to be like a in and out. I was in there for like, I don't even know, like, I think God bent time, because it felt like a long time, but a short time, and it was so powerful. And I'm going to do a whole show on that, because I need to just tell you, like, the miracle that happened, or the miracles that happened at the festival, for others and for myself personally. Again, the International Christian Film Festival, I know I'm like doing a whole commercial for them, but listen, I don't support stuff unless it's God, and I put my name on stuff that I truly believe in, and I truly believe in this festival. Again, Marty and Chris, Lorelei, all of the amazing volunteers. You ever been to like a church and like they ushers is nasty and stuff? So this was like not that. This was like not a church, it was an event, but it was like a revival. Literally, it was like a revival, because I feel revived. So I said all that to say, the volunteers are like, I guess you could say, like, the ushers, the greeters, and they were wonderful. I mean, wonderful. From the camera guys to the people helping in the kitchen to the people helping at the movies, they were just amazing. So shout out to all of y'all. I love y'all. Y'all are amazing. Y'all make the festival, because you and the prayer team, you set the atmosphere. And like I said, just hats off to y'all. Much respect. But so, faith, hope, and love. So now I want to get into this. Now, I told you before that when I was at the festival, and as the festival goes on, you meet like amazing people, and it was like non-stop, y'all. I'm telling you, it's like you don't want to go home, because there is so much love in this place. And speaking of that, I met these two guys and this family as well, who are involved in filmmaking. So there's a film called Parallel The Triad, and it's like an action, sci-fi, supernatural show, and it's really good. And I don't know what their target audience is. I'm not saying I couldn't decipher that. What I'm saying is, it's, for me, it was like multi-generational, but they had a lead who was a young lady who just happens to be the director and the writer's daughter, who was like one of the most natural actors that I've seen, right? Kids are good like that. Young people are good like that, because they don't have like some of the hang-ups that I think adults have just with anything, right? They're more tapped in. I believe that they're more tapped in because their hearts are pure, because they haven't gone through all of the muck and that stuff for the most part, most of them. So, Parallel The Triad was, if you like classic vehicles, I know this stuff in movies, right? This was like a buffet, because they had some amazing cars and trucks and like classic in this vehicle. I meant to ask the director about that, because I was like, when you use stuff like that in films, not only does it up the value of it, but like that can get costly. So I really wanted to know like where they were getting all of these like fancy, like classic cars, not like new modern, like, but classic cars that were in really good shape and looked amazing, and trucks. And but the story is like a supernatural story. I'm not going to give it away, of course. You can check it. You can actually check it out online. I'll leave that information here. You can watch the trailer, and I believe you can also check out the actual show online, which I was told that they're considering making it into an animated series, which I think will be great as well. Either way, it was good to me. And it's kind of like the stuff that you've been hoping that faith-based films would do, like entertain with a message but be good. And that's what this does. That's what it did for me. And I have an interview and a little behind the scenes, and of course the trailer. And I was fortunate enough to interview these guys, and they were just amazing. Just talking to David and Michael and their beautiful daughter. Well, Jason. I said David and Michael. Jason and Michael. And Jason's beautiful daughter, who was the lead, she was amazing. And he was in it as well. And he was. It's funny because like as a director, I guess he's an actor. He did really well as an actor. Like to the point where sometimes people aren't able to make that leap, but it was very believable. And I say it like this: his performance was so good that it didn't take away anything from the story. It was like just part of the ebb and flow. Made it really really good for me to watch. Because you guys know when you see acting that's not so great, but this was very natural acting. I don't know what they're from Texas, so it's like one of those things that the joke in Texas is, I don't know what's in the water. So I don't know what's in the water, but down there in Texas, they got some good actors and directors and all of that. And these guys were just great people to just hang out with. I'm looking forward to just relationship with these guys and maybe even working in the future with them.
Another one.
Another what? Oh, you mean one of your intergalactic brushes with the quantum realm. Sounds like a series of coincidences to me.
Could be.
You believe in coincidences?
I can feel you sometimes.
It's coming up on a year, right, son?
I guess I should go.
I guess we need to just give in and just trust God.
Is this the one we've been waiting for?
What's the latest?
It's all happening, just as we were told.
What happened back there?
I don't know.
We'll be deploying our very best assets. Our people. Look at me, kid.
You will only know your journey's inner meaning and reason when you meet God again.
You don't deserve this.
Faith is what brings us through. That's the one thing He so vividly taught us. Trust God's plans, Eris.
Welcome to Life, Art, and Spirit again. Again, we're at the International Christian Film Festival 2025, and we've had a ton of amazing film and filmmakers. And I bumped into some people from Texas, which I'm happy about that. You guys know that I lived in Beaumont for a while, and these guys live in Houston and do some stuff down there. And God is so busy right now doing stuff. I just witnessed something that is so different than what Christian film has been doing. I'm excited about it because I've been in my mind thinking, in order for us to really take over Hollywood, we have to hit that action, right? We have to hit that action genre. And I see that even the sci-fi, because you got a little bit of everything, but that whole supernatural element of it, because in the world, a lot of young people are seeking the power, divine power, through demonic power, right? And through witchcraft. And you can go in stores like Barnes & Noble and they have spell books and all of this little garbage for the kids, and decks where you can learn how to cast spells, and it's just ridiculous. But so that supernatural realm that we keep getting food out of thinking that it exists is happening to us, and our young people in particular, like really happening to our young people, and it's being ignored. So I was so happy that you addressed that in this film. So tell me a little bit about this film and how it came about. You started to tell a story about how you guys met. I want to tell that story because that in itself is divine. So
it is. Michael, my business partner, executive producer, and brother. We met in 2020 we were paired together at an Acts retreat, a men's Acts retreat, and it was put on by our churches, and we did not know each other before, and Jesus literally put us together in a divine experience. From there, that's right. I'm going to parachute you down here in a minute, Michael Bay. We were paired together, and we really, I think I'm speaking for the both of us, felt something very special and different, and we just moved on that feeling. It was in a very transitional point in everybody's life, right before the pandemic, right before COVID, and so when the pandemic did come, and everybody was, in their kitchen or workshop or garage working on the next big widget or their grand idea, Michael and I were building a film company. Yep. Introduced a story to him and what I wanted to do with film, who I wanted to reach, and how I wanted to reach them. And he was on board. He felt it, and he felt the calling, I think, as well.
Yeah, the timing was perfect. Like I've said before, never in a million years would I think I'd be involved in making this film. However, I was seeking a deeper relationship with Jesus. Quite frankly, I needed some help, and I found it there. And then we met during that time frame, and was fascinated by his skill set and what he had to offer. And then, and my skills came into play. I'm a very determined person, and but I had to go outside of me. I had to do something for him. So I was just tired of doing stuff with myself and pride and those kind of things, because it really doesn't work. It doesn't last. And so then he had this concept, and I read his script, and we talked about it, and especially the current movie that we're now here, it was a way for me, because I'm older, it was a way for me to help him with his incredible talent to get to the younger adults before they're my age, and give them some guidance, and teach them, because a lot of them haven't even gone to church. They haven't set foot in it. They don't understand it. So if we can make a movie and we can attract the young adult audience and get them in there, then we can, while we're there, show them how it fits in their lives today by aligning their minds with God's perspective. It's so helpful. That was the force that got us together.
So I'm listening to you. The way God works is like when you were talking about you guys going to this retreat, and a lot of times with faith, all we have to do is show up, right? And so while you guys were off living your lives separately, umpteen million years ago, God had said, you know what? We need to have this Acts retreat, and I need to have my boys meet up together, right?
Yes.
Wow. We got some stuff to do.
We believe that 100%. And my daughter, who was easily casted for the role, and is the reason you could see why now that she is is nominated for the Best Supporting Actress. One of her lines is, "Before God knew us, before He formed us in the womb, God knew us." And it's this thought, or maybe it is something that I remember with that experience, because I feel that there's this conversation that we have with God before we're down there, and so and God's like, okay, so you want to go down there and you're ready to do this because you're going on the evil one's turf.
Yeah.
And we're gung ho. We're like, yeah, come on, let's go, let's go.
Airwaves.
And God's like, this is not going to be easy. And we're like, no, we got this. And a lot of people forget that original conversation or that innate journey that we're supposed to be on.
It's kind of like Briella and the Nomad. She's like, this isn't really easy, and he's like, let's go, let's do it.
Exactly. The lines that I wrote for you stems from that initial relationship that we had with God.
So I want to ask you a couple questions. Now, how old are you?
I'm 12, but I will be 13 next month.
Okay, my daughter is right around here. I think you guys are going to have to hook them up because I think they will get along great. My daughter loves musical theater and acting and stuff. We stuff her and everything too. But your performance is so good that like I've been saying at the film festival this weekend, it's like I don't feel like I'm watching movies, right? Because I think when the young lady asked you the question about your character and everything, and about how you prepared, it made me think about, like, because you're young, how complete God's gift is, right? Because I went to school for theater, right? You're 12 years old, and you come out and you do what is just natural to you, and you're about to be on a stage, right? Getting an award, I believe.
Well, I mean,
Amen.
I don't know what to expect, but I am pretty excited. I feel really blessed to have the opportunity that I have, and it came on pretty, like, I was very surprised.
Hey, that was for somebody.
And I will practically say I was pretty much in shock. Not like in shock, which I'm not like clearly, but I was still processing it all, even so it was pretty interesting, but it was also pretty fun, and I was very pleased.
I mean, it's just awesome. Like when I see families doing stuff, right, and your wife is involved, you're a writer. Like I believe that's what God, that's the whole thing about that. When it comes together, right? Here we are with this podcast, nominated and everything. We're actors here, and I'm excited about it because it's like I said at this festival. It just feels like I'm at a family reunion, right? With a bunch of creative artists, and because it's so rare that people can be aligned so much, so easily. That's been a topic of conversation that we've been having. And I'm gonna say this. I'll take this out. Now, I lived in Texas. I lived in Omaha, right? And truthfully, being transparent here, this is one of the bigger things that I love about this festival, because I don't feel this, right? Now, I live in Texas. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, right? I feel it, right? So, coming into this environment, being able to just be, that's a big deal. Yeah, with no blinders, colorless bias. Right, I'm colorless here. Because, I'm not even, watching, even in Buffalo, still when I go into situations, business situations, my job, or whatever, there's a certain way I feel like I have to be, right? But I'm so comfortable, right? And so, for me, that, in my mind, all kind of stuff comes flash. That is not me. I love things to carry
church. It brings us together in a wonderful way. It gives us way more power inside because it's not around. It's not. I've said it before, I'm going to end on this note. Coming to this festival, I believe every year, this is my third year, I just believe that God is sending us. This is the new revival. This is how that great revival we're talking about. We're all going to be young people that are going to be not only by God is like me, a dad who has the job and responsibility of finding wholesome shows for your children to watch and your family to watch, so you don't have to be worried about outside influences or gender confusion or anything else. Find these guys and tell everybody else about them. So that's it for Life, Fire, and Spirit. Thank you guys.